So it's been a while. Potential trigger warning as always. Wanted to update. Basically, the last couple of videos, a lot of it was me ranting and raving and freaking out about trying to find a therapist for my son because the courts were making it a massive fustercluck on putting the priority on getting him therapy, which is great. It's needed. But because of the fact that it was court ordered, extreme situation, and not the best quality internet, the majority of therapy groups online, and also needed to be in English, the majority of therapy groups in online didn't offer that. In fact, I spent ages trying to find anyone who would work with us, and I finally found someone in January, or December, January, or something like that. From January to April, messaging back and forth with them, which they were absolutely fantastic about it. And the more that we talked, the more that they were replying back, almost immediately, or like, quickly, as opposed to months. Yeah, meow to you too. There's like 3 of them now. It helped calm my nerves. It helped me to regain some of my ability to function. And so that was great. The problem is that from January to April, I'm talking with the lawyers trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be paying for this? Because my ex had said to the court multiple times that he would pay for my son to have therapy. Okay. They were kind of balking at the fact that the therapy group, the only one that would accept us, is 140 euros for 50 minutes. And at one point, because it's located up in Paris, the lawyer did not read exactly what I said and thought that there would have to be extra money for him to go to Paris. And it's like, no, it's online. Oh, well, that is a lot of money. It is. How about you try this group, this therapy group? They're all online. They all speak English. It'll be great. Yeah, there was like, about 10,000 different, therapists available and stuff like that. Fantastic. Except if you go to the fact page and you look at the fact page and it specifically says, okay, for your adolescent child, between the ages of this and that, if court ordered, if bad internet, if, oh yeah, it's an extreme situation, we check off all of those. Yeah, sorry, we don't work with you. Sorry. Which I pointed out, like, right there. So I ended up saying, okay, fine, F it. I don't have a lot of money. I have some in savings. I'm just going to pay for it. Started in April. We started in April. And that was helping. And his therapist is really nice. I like her. She gives him an access point that I can't provide. And it also reaffirms some of the stuff that I've been saying, because she's got the professional end of it. I've got the more living through it, not just with myself, but with others. After 25 plus years of being a volunteer life and behavioral coach, helping a lot of people with PTSD, C-PTSD, working with a lot of veterans or active military as well. So I'm not exactly a novice. I just don't have professional training, but I've got experience. And a lot of people go, poo-poo, oh, well, what's experience? I'm in the field dealing with it. So that at least has helped us get to the point where we were at. But, so then comes the word, oh yeah, you know what? Okay, so like, and I remember when the time is, because it was the eclipse in April, so it was April 8th. I find out, oh yeah, so April 8th, this is the first time I'm hearing of it, there's going to be the court thing, you don't have to be there, and it's going to say whether or not the child alimony type thing that we've requested in like September is going to come through or not. I'm like, oh, great, this is the first I've heard of it in a year. Okay, and I guess they also roped in that my ex would be paying for the therapy. But because of the woman in charge of my money, because I'm under curatorship, because of the fact that I have such a hard time paying my bills, because I don't know how anything works. Every time I try and figure out how anything works, it gets fusterclucked. Anytime I needed help with anything, they're just like, oh, well, you have to figure it out on your own. You're there to help me. Help me. And so they wouldn't. And so I kept getting further and back into debt. And at no point has anyone said, okay, let's really look at this and let's solve it. No, they're just like pushing forward and causing more and more problems. And this woman, I call her the anti-happy lady. She is frustrating. She can't do her job. She just point blank, period, cannot do her job. Her level of competency is just questionable. She shouldn't even be working in an Aldi, working as a cashier. She has no business being with the public, no business handling money or paperwork. Anyway, I digress. So basically, one of the kittens found something to play with. I mean, the cat's like almost a year old now, but she's tiny. She looks like a kitten. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm distracted. I've been trying to make this video all day, but there was this noise, and now the noise is gone. It was annoying. It would have annoyed you, really. Anyway, so I'm kind of in ADHD mode, which I didn't have before. But isolation, brain changes from the stroke, yeah. So basically, because of the fact that she knew the paperwork was coming through and that my ex would start paying for things, she stopped paying for things. Or she was just completely incompetent. One or the other, maybe both, who knows. But she, for the month of June, she didn't pay. And she took forever with multiple emails and notifications to pay the ones for April. And I'm like, okay, so if she hasn't paid for the ones for April, there's no way that we can do anything more, so let's put it on pause until she actually pays those up. So my son missed the first 2 weeks of June because she didn't pay. Finally, she pays. And then the second 2 weeks of June, we had to miss it because my ex decided, well, since he's going to be paying alimony, which I have no idea how I'm going to get any of that money, if I'm going to even see any of that money, because my son needs clothing. I mean, he's like almost 6 foot. He's got to be like 200 pounds. He's massive. I mean, he's got big, broad shoulders. He's got big barrel chest like all my sons. He's got, thick muscles, thick thighs, plus he's got a big gut, because he's not doing enough activity, probably too much estrogen in his diet, all that kind of stuff. He's still growing. And his father is 6'6", massive guy too. We're not talking, like land of the skinny people. So he's got it in both sides of his family. Granted, I'm short, but almost everybody else in my family is big. So he's got virtually no clothing. And I can't buy anything online. I can't have anything delivered either. And I'm limited to the stores that are out here in middle of nowhere, rural France, which means there's nothing in his size. He's like a 5X. And that'll fit his waist, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll get up over his thighs because he's got massive thighs. I mean, like big tree trunk thighs. He's built for bodybuilding. Anyway, he'd be fantastic at rugby. And he likes to run too. But the thing is that, because of the fact that, he was already paying for the scooter, my ex, which my son did not want to use. It was a death trap to begin with. Didn't want it because of all kinds of other memories and trauma and stuff like that. So he hadn't been using it for a year, and it needed some serious upgrades and work and stuff like that. Wouldn't even turn on. And there's nowhere to go. We never have any money to buy anything. So what's the point? On top of the fact that if it was working, it was more of a potential option of him running off and taking his father out because of all the abuse and running on fumes. So that got taken care of because we got that taken away. It was supposed to go back to him. No idea if it actually did. I gave the people who took it away all the information, and they were responsible for taking away the car that had been in both of our names before and had been dead for like 5 years maybe. And I couldn't find anyone to get rid of it before that. So, everyone was supposed to be in the know. So he's complaining that he's paying for insurance for something that no longer exists and he's aware of to some degree. He's complaining that he was also paying a measly amount for phone, like a phone number with, internet and stuff like that, 20 gigabytes for my son. And literally the weekend, the Friday, right before the weekend for Father's Day, we get the notification that, my son can't use the internet. Okay. At one point I tried text messaging him to make sure, that it was like, oh, well, maybe it's a thing with the towers because we're out in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes the towers go out. Could be something like that. No, it said, le numéro n'est pas attribué. So it's not associated, so it doesn't exist. So my ex just randomly, without telling anyone, cut the phone bill, stopped paying, which is really sadistic. And that keeps in line with his habit of constantly, as soon as things start to level out, he throws in a monkey wrench and he causes more problems. I'm sorry for my turkey. You know, if I actually had, I got good muscle, I do. And if I had the ability to live a normal life, I'd go back into exercising and get rid of the turkey. But, it's hard having ADHD type brain when you're not used to it. And it's because of acquired neurodivergence. So I'm having to learn this. So I apologize. I am all over the place. I'm also nervous about what to say because I'm not used to talking to the camera. I'm not used to talking to people in general. It's been ages. But so he missed all of June, parts of July. I don't know if the July bill has been paid for by my ex. I made sure that the lawyers had the information to the therapy group. The therapy group had the information to the lawyers, plus my ex, whatever information I had, including his social media. So, if they can't get hold of any other way, feel free to troll him on his Facebook account. Go for it. I would, but I don't give a shit. Oh, sorry, swearing. Oh, well, it's not like I'm monetized anyway. But, so I have no idea if he's paid for anything for the July. We haven't had any appointments in August because, well, they're up in Paris. You had the holidays, the summer vacation, plus you had the Olympic Games, which is another video. That's an entirely different video. So, basically, I've been fighting with my phone carrier service, which got transferred in February from the bank that I was using, which had the option of Orange, Bouygues, and SFR. That way, if you're in a zone and you need to transfer between one of the towers to the other towers because one has reception better or whatever, they went completely just to Bouygues, shifted me over to Bouygues with no real information. Yes, they sent something, but it didn't mean anything. They didn't reply to emails, or when they did reply to emails, sorry, we're too lazy to answer your questions. I even organized them in numbers. So it's easy to go back to and go, hey, what about question number 3? What about 5? Can you something? No. Much like the Olympics. Anyway. So yeah, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, fuck. So basically, I've been dealing with them. I sent them messages through their handicap status information on their website. I tried contacting them through you put your number in here, and they're supposed to call you back. Never did. Finally, in June, when I find out that my son doesn't have data, and I've only got 60 gigabytes of data, and I originally had 80, but they bumped me down. And there goes a tractor. Excuse me. Intermission. Can you tell I'm bored? I need stimulation. I need someone to play with. I need someone to talk with and get this out of me and go, ugh. Okay, maybe not the jiggly biggly, but there goes my sock. So basically, I'm trying to get a hold of them in June. I'm contacting them through the website multiple different ways. Nothing. Contact an actual store. I can't actually physically go to a store, so I can't actually see someone. And I need either to be there and to watch their body language to better understand what it is they're saying, to really understand, am I getting the nuance to it? Because body language tells a lot more than what words can. And they could be going and basically being Groot and saying, I am Groot, and I'm supposed to understand it. Well, sorry, I don't speak Groot. It's like, I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. Or their equivalent, ah bon? Ah bon. Ah bon. Kind of like dude. Dude. So, I can't physically go see them, so I tried calling them, talked with one lady, and she was really helpful, but her accent was really, really, really complicated for my brain because she's from, one of the island countries. And so her accent is kind of all over the place. So my brain is trying to adjust for that which is like hard. But she was really cool. She tried, and it was great. And and I'm trying, and we're working it out. But then she passes me to a colleague who's from some other area of French mainland, and he has like this other way of articulating it and going fast in certain areas versus other areas that's different from the Poitou-Charentes area. So it was like from one switch to the other, and then they're like, okay, well, look, here's what we'll do. We'll have someone call you tomorrow between X hour and X hour, and they speak English. That'll work. No one called me. Sent several of those messages of, here, put your number in here and we'll have someone reach back to you. The only way I actually got someone to talk to me in July to at least base minimum upgrade my service from 60 to 150 for the same price of $22.99, yay, was to go all over Facebook and social media, basically going underneath whatever posts they have and going, this is why I'm upset. Because my son has suicidal ideation. He's got, well, no, not anymore. He had it. Thankfully, he's been done with suicidal ideation since about April, just before he started the therapy. So that's good. But he still has the homicidal ideation. And so it's not safe for him to be home alone without access to internet while I go out shopping, or if I want to walk the dog, I have to leave my phone at home, something, so that way he has some form of internet. And if it's been really, really hot, which it has been, it's too hot to use the PlayStation for his therapy, for his emotional support. It's too hot for him to do just about anything other than just try and keep cold as much as possible and be on the phone for the internet. So I'm trying to like press this point forward, and finally someone gets a hold of me, and it's an AI chat thing, and then someone else gets a hold of me who's actually a real person, and finally I get my service updated, but they still haven't told me how to get him his own service plan. So it's now August, and I don't have anything for him. So Bouygues, step it up. And I'm really irritated because it should not be this difficult, and yet it is. Bruce, tu t'étais, yeah, I know, but yeah, stop shaking the table. So it's like all kinds of BS that I'm having to deal with. No one wants to do their job. No one wants to communicate. No one wants, and I still haven't heard back from my son's lawyer, because I had a lawyer. She doesn't want to work with me anymore because I expect her to actually do her job, communicate with me and educate me on what's going on, keep me abreast of the nuances, the depth, instead of just assumptions. It's not that difficult. I'm not asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars. I'm just asking for communication, and not like 3 months between, and then me getting punished because I didn't fill out a paperwork that I couldn't read, that no one ever helped me to figure out what it meant. And I asked. So, his lawyer has not contacted us at all, has not said anything at all. We have no idea what's going on. These people are not doing their job. And it's like, what are we supposed to do? So maybe technically at the end of the month he has another therapy appointment. We've scheduled it, but the last appointment we had, we were there and no one showed up. So kind of confusing. And then most of this month has been because of vacation, which parallels with the Olympic Games. So it's just like, it's all kinds of stress for nothing. It's all kinds of sabotage for nothing. We still, like, the heater went out on the house, which heats the hot water as well as the house. So we've got no hot water. I've got no way to get a hold of anyone to repair it, because everyone I keep calling, yeah, no, sorry, we want to talk to the landlords. Landlords they don't care. They're not interested. In fact, they're the ones who put in a new machine that was already sabotaged and faulty, and maintenance isn't going to fix that. It's just not. Structural damage, no. And so it's been a death trap just having it since 2020. So I can't get anyone to replace it. I'm willing to buy just a new unit if I have to, just if I can get someone to put it in, but I can't get anyone to do their job. No one's replying. Plus, it's vacation, so no one wants to do their job anyway. And it's like... And then the woman in charge of my money, the curator... Oh my God, that woman deserves to be in jail. Cannot do her job. But this is like 20 minutes. So this is catching you up to where we are. Sorry that it's all over the place. Sorry that I'm so hyper. I will try and calm down. It's just getting it out. Sort of like trauma dumping, but info dumping. I don't know, whatever. This acquired neurodivergence is really, really weird. Plus, you can't really tell how much of it is acquired neurodivergence versus how much of it is living in isolation to such an extreme extent where not having anyone to talk to, finally talking about the subject and being more lucid about it, because it's not such a like before it was just like, oh my God. But it's just being in isolation really does things to your social skills. It does things to your brain, and it can push you towards dementia. It can also push you towards risk of stroke, heart problems, all kinds of other health problems. And I already have some of those, so it's like I do not have enough middle fingers. I just don't. But there we are. So yeah, if you've got questions, if you want more information, cool. I like engagement because then I have direction. Anyway, gonna post more videos now that I have internet, because that's why I couldn't post videos. I had to share the majority of it with him for his social needs, because he only had 20 gigabytes and then he had nothing. So now there's a chance that I can communicate better, communicate more with less stress, so that I don't have to worry about how long the videos are, how long it takes to update them, how just all the who, what, where, whys. But yeah, if there's any questions, if there's any engagement, it really does help, because then it helps me to focus and give the information that there's just so much of it. And we still need help. And we're not out of it yet. And I don't know how we're going to survive the next 10 months. So anyway, thanks for listening.